look up into the southern sky on a clear, dark night and, in a galaxy just west of Orion's belt, you may glimpse the Barcode Nebula, a hazy collection of stars many light years away. You may think it looks serene and peaceful, yet nothing could be further from the truth. The peaceful days were shattered by the arrival of the self-acclaimed Emperor Boss, the wickedest warmonger in the galaxy, who had, by some stroke of genius, discovered the secret of time travel itself. Not content with conquering the entire nebula in the present, he aimed to rule the past and the future too. And so began the Commerce conflict, fought throughout the 4 eras of Barcode Nebulan time.
I didn't make that up, I literally just read that from the back of the box. Set in the Barcode Nebula. I'm gonna be 30 this year.
Yes, this is the mighty Barcode Battler, a gaming console released in 1992 by Epoch, the same manufacturer behind the Epoch cassette vision. Oh, how ye have fallen. Well, I don't know whether you'd actually call the Barcode Battler a console. It doesn't actually have any cartridges. Instead, it plays only one game with 3 different variations, and you need to use actual barcodes to play it. The version that I have here is technically the Barcode Battler 2. The first one was released in Japan in 1991 and was simpler than the version that we got over here.
The advertising for this thing was hype.
They are all around us. Millions of Barcode warriors and wizards waiting to fight, waiting for Barcode Battler to free their awesome power. Barcode Battler. Free the power!
Whoa, intense.
And as it was sized up in stores against the Game Boy, this thing had very little chance. But that didn't stop Epoch from trying, did it? Seriously, look at the box art. You'd think you're buying something insane over here. Compare it to the box art of, say, the Game Boy, or the Lynx even. Look at this! Terrifying robot dude is coming to get me! Gotta have my Barcode Battler, or some kids are gonna die tonight. And I really have to go back to that long speech that I gave at the beginning of this video. The copywriters for this thing were amazing. They came up with some utter balls, and it's wonderful. The sacred keys, made from the Register Stone.
The Register Stone, because cash register.
Which crystallized time have been stolen. Your mission is to find the sacred keys and turn their mysterious powers against the forces of evil. I love that. Which crystallized time? It's almost added as a sidebar. I'd like some more info on that, please. Crystallized time? Does that mean if I steal the sacred keys for myself, I can stop time like in Bernard's watch? Remember that bossness? I would never be late for work again. If I could actually get a job. By the way, if you're suddenly confused as to why I have giant man hands here, these are actually the mitts of my friend. See, I forced him to learn how to play the Barcode Battler last time he came over while I pretended to be too busy with university work, so shout out to him. Now, despite the fact I was so lazy that I forced someone else to learn how to play this for me, you really do need the instruction book to use this thing. Without internet access, which wouldn't have been available at the time, there's no way you'd be able to play it if someone had chucked out the instructions. There's a video of Ashens attempting to play it without instructions if you really want to see what I mean. Shout out to him as well, I guess.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Now, one thing I will say is that I love the instruction book. It's got this lovely silver print on it that reminds me of scratch cards. It also tries very hard to big up this storyline of Commerce conflict.
Now settle down, children. This is the story of the Great Commerce Conflict. Basically, there are clans called the Fast Food Clan and the Candy Clan. In all seriousness, that's what they're called. And now some lad called Emperor Boss has rocked up and is trying to claim the past, the present and the future all for himself. Oh, and the clans were made into slaves or something, apart from these 5 lads and a token female. And they need to go to each era and collect keys made from Register Rock so they can face up against Emperor Boss's battle station and save the Barcode Nebula.
Miss, I didn't understand any of that.
Shut up, Jacob. Oh! Right, whoever threw that is dead. Jokes aside, it took me a good 10 minutes to work out the gist of this story in the blurb. It really is mind-bending.
The first thing you need to do is choose your play mode. C0 means 2-player. C1 means normal 1-player. C2 means advanced 1-player. So let's just go with the standard 1-player. Now this means the battler is waiting for me to input a player, being one of these cards. Obvious, right? So how it works is you need to put in both a wizard and a warrior, so you have 2 players when you play. Wizards and warriors can only use certain items, and also wizards can use magic whereas warriors can't. What's rather pleasing is that in the instruction booklet it doesn't even seem to know the difference. Depends on warrior, but usually okay.
Even the makers of this thing don't have faith in it.
So let's dance with this guy.
Right, okay. Come on! That doesn't make any sense.
The barcode reader is very finicky. It even takes a good few swipes to scan the ones in that are supplied with the actual battler.
Scan the damn barcode! Yay! Finally! Wow, what a visual feast.
Yeah, that's your screen. This little icon in the top left tells me that I've picked a wizard. You get another icon if you picked a warrior. All these numbers are your player stats. Health, hit power, defense. They're different for each character, and this is where the moderately interesting stuff comes in.
I say moderately interesting in the loosest sense of the words.
Now it's asking me to input a weapon or power-up of choice. These are the ones which are provided in the unit. Now, like I said before, the wizard can't use some of these things. It doesn't tell you which ones anywhere, so you're just going to have to go through everything.
Kind of helpfully, it makes this noise if the card didn't scan properly. This noise if the card can't be used with the player or you're trying to scan the card at the wrong time. And this noise if the card is registered and can now be used.
Granted, that last noise is quite exciting, especially if you've just spent a full minute trying to get the damn thing to scan. Really feels like an achievement. Now, depending on what you scanned in, one of your stats will increase. You can only do this at the start of each battle though. Same for when you're playing 2-player. Some of the power cards only last for 1 turn, while the effects of others can last a couple of turns. So for example, this gun with a high attack power has only 1 shot, and if you miss, then you can't use it again in that battle.
Hello. No, don't touch it, because the owner will kill me. Oh,
So, 1-player mode. You get to register both your warrior and your wizard, and then you can choose which one you want to use in each battle. Kinda like the original Pokemon, you have these 2 guys in your party, and then you have to choose one to fight with. Okay, so let's go back onto this mad storyline. Each battle era, which is this E, has a total of 5 light worlds. H will stand for a boss section, so this means this is going to be a boss battle. No idea why they've used H, I'm not interested in finding out.
So when you start the game, you have to start in Era 1. Remember, we're fighting across time zones here. And then you can choose a light world within that era, 1 to 5. In each of those 5 light worlds, one of Emperor Boss's henchmen is waiting for you.
You don't have to kill all of them, but you do need to find 3 keys altogether, and 3 of the henchmen have them. If the enemy you choose is too strong for you, you can try and run away. Each enemy you kill gives you some form of upgrade on one of your stats, so you can come back to ones that were too tough for you before. This is very hard to illustrate with this screen, so please do bear with me, I'm trying my best. So sometimes when you defeat one of these henchmen, you get a key. Like I said, there's 3 of them in each era, but if you lose to an enemy in one of the light worlds, you will probably lose your key. You following me? You following me? Okay, we're following.
Just took a key away from us! Oh, come on! When will the suffering end?
Once you've finally got through all of the light worlds in all of the eras and have all of the keys, that's when you can face Emperor Boss.
Emperor Boss. That's what I call my boyfriend. It's one of the many reasons why he left. In all seriousness though, isn't calling yourself Emperor Boss an indication of some very fragile masculinity? Isn't that like me calling myself Empress Dominating McPerson in charge? Actually, I quite like that.
Alright, so if you're still following me after that, let's look at some of the actual battle gameplay in depth. because we're all about the thrills on this channel.
What am I doing with my life?
So what's happening here is this button is being pressed to attack the enemy. They are attacking back. That's what these little animations are. If your health is getting a bit low, you can press this button to attempt to regenerate some of your health.
Being able to regen your health whenever you want may make this seem like a really easy game, but it's actually incredibly challenging because there's a huge amount of luck involved.
Sometimes your hits won't land, sometimes your regen won't work, sometimes your enemy will inexplicably whack out a critical hit that is just immense and makes no sense at all.
What? Ah! But you're a barcode. How are you that strong?
This is rock solid. I can't even get past the first era. I'm getting my arse handed to me. I'm getting battered by a barcode. I'm getting one-upped by a UPC. I'm getting kicked by a cash register. I'm getting spanked by stock. And no, that wouldn't be kinky, so it doesn't even have that going for it. Well, there is some respite. You can actually save your game and go back to a previous version. You can do this before or after every battle, so this is a useful feature if you expect to get pummeled by critical hits from a box of Cheerios.
Now, of course, this LCD screen relies heavily on your imagination when battling. What? But it does come with this personal battle manual to help you along.
Oh, the whole Barcode Nebula backstory thing again. Great. I mean, this is on the back of the box and in the main instruction manual. Did they think that we would have missed it?
Maybe if I read it a third time it'll make sense. Nope.
This is where you will find a visual representation of those henchmen you're gonna fight in each era and light world. Each one has its own little blurb written about it. The thing is, aside from this crappy gauge showing degree of difficulty, there isn't any information about them. That could have been really useful. I especially love how the writers clearly got bored after naming, say, all the baddies in the first era. Because by era 2 we've got Haha, Nightstick, the Noodle, Rammer, the Calculator, and Lampstand.
Lampstand.
Now, if you get good at this game and eventually make it to the boss Emperor's Lair, you get to choose which of his 10 henchmen protecting him you're gonna fight first with these cards. Like all the other cards, each one has its own blurb on the back. Ooh, this guy's quite hot. Oh, apparently he's a cheat and a scoundrel. Never mind then. Wait, maybe I can change him.
Now you've probably noticed that all of these lads have insane hit points. And to beat them, you're really going to have to think outside of the box. Barcode. You need to think outside of these barcodes. But basically, you can get any barcodes from around the house, in the kitchen or anything, and you can scan them in. How cool is that?
Okay, so to scan in your own barcodes, you need to cut them out of whatever you're cutting it from and stick it on one of these provided cards. I didn't do this as this Barcode Battler is a loner, but it is a kind of a cute idea.
And the random product that you scan could be a wizard, a warrior, a superpower weapon, or nothing at all. Literally, that's what it says on the box. It says it could be nothing at all. Hype.
If you really want to beat this game, you have to be looking around for some stronger barcodes, because the ones supplied are rubbish for use later on in the game. So let's get cutting.
Whee! Imagine being the parent that bought your kids the Barcode Battler. You're gonna go to pick up a bag of pasta for dinner and all of it's gonna fall out of the hole where the barcode used to be. Every single item in your house with a barcode is gonna be fair game. And think about how many things other than food have barcodes. Shampoo bottles, medication, books, video games. Hide the goddamn scissors. What have you got there? This isn't a barcode, this is my degree certificate.
But you know how the box says your barcode could be nothing at all? Well, despite the fact that more than 20 years on, this thing is perfectly capable of reading modern barcodes and applying stat upgrades with them. A lot of the barcodes that I tried just simply didn't work.
Ooh, Animal Soccer World worked. That's probably the only use I'm ever going to get out of this game. Alright, screw it. Let's scan my antidepressants.
I'm not making this up for comedic effect. When I used my barcode from my antidepressant medication, the energy level of my character shot up by about 20,000. That is some damn strong medication.
It's a shame they don't do that in real life.
While this is useful in the one-player game, having your own barcodes really starts being quite fun when you're in two-player mode. In the two-player mode, both of you take one side of the battler and simply take it in turns to pummel each other. It's actually really fun to scan in codes and find out who is the stronger player, although that's taken away a little with the seemingly random allocation of critical hits. Look at the state of this damage that my friend did to me after using Animal Soccer World against my antidepressants. That's a sentence you never thought you'd hear, isn't it?
Overall, I mean, yeah, this is pretty awful. I think any average kid these days at least would just play it for about an hour, cut out a load of barcodes, and then never play it again.
Well, to be fair, apparently the Barcode Battler didn't do too badly in Japan, where barcode scanning games seem to really capture people's imagination. So much so that it would end up getting its own Nintendo buy-in with Legend of Zelda and Super Mario cards. It also got its own video games on the Famicom. This is Barcode World, which came packaged in with an interface so you could hook your Barcode Battler up onto your Famicom.
This game was essentially a more awesome version of what you got on the Barcode Battler itself, but it would use the connected Barcode Battler externally to fight the gnarly monsters on the screen.
Look at how much better this is than this. This is great. There was also Barcode Battler Senki, sort of a spiritual successor, and that's not even all. There were games made following this that had at least some level of functionality with the Barcode Battler, such as unlocking secret items or levels, as late as 1995. Interestingly, or perhaps due to laziness, the version I have retains the output port needed to use with these games, despite the fact that said games were never released outside of Japan, and there doesn't appear to have been any plans to do so.
Now these Famicom games are pretty cool. As a kid, I would have loved going around the house and finding barcodes to use on it. Imagine having your own curated stack of fighters and being able to see them come alive on the screen.
I don't know if maybe us in the West needed more visual cues when it comes to gaming, but this dull interface was probably what stopped the Barcode Battler being especially successful here. I mean, the whole concept of scanning barcodes didn't do badly in Japan. Look, this is Game Boy's offering. So even though this is a piece of tatty trash, I reckon if it had been released before the Game Boy, it could have been onto a winner here, despite the really over-the-top storyline. Still don't quite understand it.
Overall, the concept of this thing is nice, but when it was released, with the Game Boy having already been out for a few years already, there's no way the Barcode Battler could have possibly competed, much less taken seriously with that ridiculous storyline. Well, back to the Barcode Nebula with you. Ah! Oh my god, Emperor Boss!
I have the Barcode Battler now. The only thing that would help the Candy Clan and Fast Food Clan defeat me.
Okay.
I alone shall rule the Barcode Nebula.
Go for it. I mean, the Barcode Battler is kind of really boring, so I'm not going to miss it.
What? You don't want to challenge me?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Because you think I'm weak.
No, it's not that, I just don't care.
My name is Emperor Boss, you know. That means I'm like super strong.
Okay.
I'm the strongest in the galaxy.
Okay.
Oh, bye then.
Bye.
Fine.
Miss, I think I'm bleeding.
Shut up. Why are you still here?